Now we're going to talk about some of the other sections of your poster, and then we're going to have a chance to work on our Lego storefronts. Let's look quickly at those last three portions of your poster. Looking at the graphic organizer, you can see that there's a section called Budgets. This is where you're going to write down all of the expenses that your business will have, all the things that you need to buy. Businesses have budgets where they plan out what they're going to spend, and families have budgets too. I'll bet that your family has a budget that they use at home. It probably lists all your family's expenses, like perhaps the rent for the apartment or house that you live in, maybe the amount that is paid each month for the car. Also, if you have cable TV at home, you probably have a cable bill that your family pays. They pay for electricity each month. All of those expenses are in your family's budget. Now your business is going to have a budget too. For instance, let's imagine that I decided to open an Italian restaurant. What expenses would I have? What would I need to buy? Let's do a quick turn and talk. I want you to answer this question. What expenses would the budget for my Italian restaurant have? What would I need to buy? We're going to set the timer for 30 seconds and let's turn and talk. So here are some of the expenses I thought of. See if some of the ones that I thought of were also ones that you thought of. So obviously we're going to need some tables and chairs in our restaurant. We're going to need some silverware and some plates. We're going to need an oven to cook things in. We'll need a sign for out front that tells the name of our restaurant. And we might even need some things that you don't think of right away, like in the summer it's going to be really hot, so we probably want to have air conditioning in our restaurant. For instance, you need to pay the workers who work in your restaurant. You need to buy ingredients for the food. It's a pretty long list of things that you need to start your business. We'll talk later about the actual money that each of these things will cost your business, but for now, I'd like you to just make a big long list of everything you can think of in this box that I'm highlighting here for your business and the things you'll need to spend money on. Now let's look at this box that I'm highlighting now, which is for the forecast for your business. A forecast is when you think ahead a little bit about how you want your business to grow. Maybe think 3 to 5 years ahead in time and how your business will grow over time. So let me give you a couple examples of how businesses grow. One way is that they diversify the products that they sell. For instance, let's take the shoe company Nike. Now originally Nike only sold shoes. Here's a picture of an early Nike shoe that they sold. But you might have noticed that now Nike sells a lot more than just shoes. Look at all these products that they sell now. T-shirts and sweatshirts and basketballs and all kinds of other things that Nike now sells. Once they were successful with their shoes, they kind of branched out into other things that they sell as well. So your business may start with one main product and then it may branch out over time to sell other products. Another example might be that your business may grow in the number of locations that it has, the number of stores. Going back to our favorite example of McDonald's, McDonald's started with one store in San Bernardino, California. Now they have literally thousands of stores. Look at this map here of the United States and all those different McDonald's restaurants. They have tons of McDonald's restaurants all across the country. So they grew over time from their original business plan of just one store. So I want you to think about, how will your business grow over time? How will it change? The last box that we haven't talked about yet is your market. Another way to say this is, who will be your customers? Every business owner should think about who their customers will be before they open their store. You want to plan out who your typical customer might be so that you can try to advertise to them and to make your product something that they will want. For instance, let's say my product was this very cute pink dollhouse. I'm going to make lots of pink dollhouses and sell them, and that's my product. Now, these two little girls here, they might want to buy my product because typically little girls between, say, the ages of 4 and 12 like to play with dollhouses. Now, of course, sometimes boys like to play with dollhouses too. Sometimes grown-ups even play with dollhouses. But as a business owner, I want to think about who the most likely customers for my dollhouse are going to be. Now, take a look at these guys. Now, maybe they'll want to play with my dollhouse, but probably not. So I'm going to probably focus on little girls, maybe boys between the ages of, like I said, 4 and 12, and I'm going to try to sell to those customers. And if I did some advertising on TV, I would probably decide to advertise with maybe TV shows that little girls like to watch. I'm probably not going to put my advertisement on like late at night or during like basketball games, because my customers for my dollhouses probably aren't going to be watching those shows. On the other hand, if I was selling sporting goods, if I had a sporting goods company and I sold like baseball gloves and basketballs, then those guys might be the customers that I'm aiming for. And those little girls, they might buy my basketball and they might buy my baseball glove, but maybe not so likely. I probably wouldn't focus on them as my market, as my potential customers. And when would I advertise for my sporting goods company? Probably during like sporting games, like during football games and basketball games and baseball games, because I know those guys who will probably buy my products, they'll probably be watching then. So for this box that says market, you can also think of that as your customers. You want to draw a picture and write a couple of sentences describing who your customers will probably be. You want to predict who your market most likely will be. Now, we're going to work on the business posters for about 30 minutes. I'm going to set the timer, and your teacher is going to be giving points for people who are working hard and for people who are really making their posters look beautiful, using neat writing, lots of color, and doing a great job. And then we'll start talking about our Lego storefronts, and we'll get started with those. We're going to ask everybody to finish at least 4 boxes on their poster, 4 boxes, before they start their Legos. So in a half an hour, if you're done with 4 boxes, then you can start on your Lego store today. If not, we'll ask you to finish those 4 boxes and then start on your Legos. Okay, so let's get to work on those posters. I'll have the countdown up here, and let's begin. Okay, hopefully you got a lot of work done on your poster. And now we're going to talk a little bit about one of my favorite parts of our class, which is building the Lego storefronts. Now you're going to build a model of what your main store, sometimes they call this a flagship store, what your store is going to look like. And as you can see in this video, the students are using half of a base plate for the building of their store. So a base plate is 10 inches by 10 inches. As you can see here, you're going to use half of it to build your store, and you're going to use half of it for something else. The something else could be like a parking lot, a garden, a plaza, or anything else that you want to have outside your business. So you're going to start by building the walls of your business. And something I wanted to mention about that is you have 3 options for how to do the walls and the roof. We want to be able to see inside your business. So option 1 is that you could build walls around on 3 sides of your business and then build a roof on the top and then let us be able to see inside the business through the 4th wall. Another option is to build walls all the way around, as in this example here, and no roof on the top. That way we can see inside your business. The third option, which is really kind of fancy, is you could build 4 walls around and build a detachable roof, which we've had some students do in the past. That one's a little tricky, so certainly you don't have to do that, but that's a third option. Now, as you might have noticed in some of the examples, we ask students to use little index cards to add on to their business. And there's a number of things that you can add on to your business to make it look really great. We'll have a list up here for you to look at if you forget which things to add on, but you have to choose 5 different add-ons to put onto your business. And here's the list that you can choose from. You could have a sign that says the store hours that you're open. You could have a menu of products and prices, the things that you'll be selling and how much they cost. This is a good option if you have some kind of restaurant, but it can also be a good option for another type of business too. For instance, if you have a hardware store, you could have a menu of different prices of products, like how much a hammer costs, how much nails cost, and so forth. Another thing you could have is on the outside of your business, you could have a sale sign, like in this case, a supermarket has a sale on bananas. That can entice people to come into your store to buy something. You should also have your business sign with the logo on it somewhere on your business. You could also have a sign out in the parking lot, like in this example from a KFC. Also, don't forget to use your color scheme that you decided on. And don't forget about the inside of your business. You can use an index card and tape it on one of the walls to show, say, the shelves and the different products on the shelves. And then you can add anything else that you want to add, a flag, a rooftop garden, a rooftop seating area, totally up to you. Just so you know, we usually use half index cards or even quarter index cards, so they're a little bit smaller than like a full index card, which usually looks a little bit better if they're smaller. And you should use lots of color on those index cards. Make them look fancy and beautiful. Try not to just write like in pencil really quick on your index card and then slap it on there. That's not going to make your business look really good. You want to do what you see in these examples and really work hard on those different index card signs. Okay. So what we're going to be doing next is those students who have not finished 4 boxes of their poster yet, you're going to work first on that and finish up 4 boxes. Start to try to work quickly because we have a lot to do and we don't want you to fall too far behind. And then those students who have finished 4 boxes of their poster completely colored and ready, then those students can get started on their Lego models. Just tell your teacher that you're ready to start the Legos, and your teacher will take a look at your poster, make sure it's ready to go, and then they'll give you a base plate to start working on the Lego model. Your teacher will be giving out points for people working quietly and working hard. And I'm going to set the timer and let's begin. Now, over the next couple of classes, your teacher will be calling you and your partner, if you have one, up to find a location for your business using Google Earth. They'll be choosing people who are a little bit farther along with their poster and their Lego model to come up first. So try to work hard so your teacher will pick you earlier. Before you pick the location for your business, let's talk a little bit about location. Now, you might have heard business owners before say something like location, location, location. The reason they say that is because location is so important in the success of your business. Let me tell you a story from when I was a kid about a business that really didn't do well. Now, this Chinese restaurant opened up in my neighborhood, and here's a map of my neighborhood. Now, you see this big street right here? It's called Washington Street. That's where all the businesses were located. People were always walking down that street. They were driving down that street. But this Chinese restaurant, they decided for whatever reason to open their restaurant in a little storefront that was kind of like down this side street and away from where all the main traffic was. Now, people didn't tend to drive down that street very often, and people weren't really expecting to find a business there. And sure enough, after a few months, that Chinese restaurant closed. Now, maybe they had great dishes and maybe they had great service and really good food, but without a good location and a location off on a side street like that, they really had a tough time. That's why you want to choose a location for your business that's going to be really helpful to the success of your store. Now, there's some locations that businesses really do not want to be in. I wonder if you can think of what some of those locations might be. Let's do a turn and talk. I want you to answer this question in a minute. What are some bad locations to locate your business in? Okay, let's set the timer for 30 seconds and we'll count it down, and let's turn and talk. Ooh, I wish I could have heard the responses you had, but let's see if you were able to think of some of the same things that I was. For instance, businesses don't like to locate too close to things that people don't really like to be near. For instance, you wouldn't want to open your business like right next to a nuclear power plant. People are scared that there might be like a nuclear accident. You probably wouldn't want to locate your business next to like the city trash dump. It's going to be smelly and unpleasant. You probably wouldn't want to put your business like right under a freeway or a highway where there's like busy cars going by all the time, like making noise. You probably wouldn't want to put your business next to a prison or a jail, even though it's pretty unlikely anyone's going to escape from the jail. People just don't really want to go to, say, a restaurant that's located right next to a jail. A couple more you might have thought of is you don't want to be in a place with too much competition. Like, take a look at these two gas stations. They're right next to each other, and you'll notice that they have the exact same price for their gasoline. Now, let's say one of those two gas stations decided to make their price 50 cents higher so that they would get more money. Well, what do you think's going to happen? It's right next to the other gas station. So if the other gas station kept their price at the same level, then suddenly all the cars would just go to that gas station instead. So too much competition can be tough on a business. Sometimes businesses don't want to locate in an area of town where there might be like higher crime. A place that businesses do like to locate is a place where there's a lot of what they call walk-in traffic. That means like people are walking all around. So if you think of like the downtown area of the city you live in, that's probably a place where a lot of businesses want to be. Going back to our Chinese restaurant example, If you opened a Chinese restaurant right downtown, you might get a lot of customers that way. Maybe people going to the post office or the library or to City Hall or to another business might see your restaurant and be like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. Let's try out that restaurant and see if it's good. Now, of course, the people who are renting out the storefronts, they know all this too. So they know that business owners would rather be in like a downtown area where there's a lot of walk-in traffic, where there's a lot of people around. For that reason, they're going to charge a lot more rent than in, say, like that side street that I mentioned back in my childhood where that Chinese restaurant located. So when you choose a location for your business, your teacher is going to tell you how much the rent is per month in that location. Between $400 a month, that's on the very low end, up to $2,000 a month, that's on the very high end. And if you decide to put your business, let's say in a really popular location where a lot of people are all the time, tourists go, there's tons of walk-in traffic, that might cost you $2,000 a month in rent. If you chose, say, an area with a lot of crime or right next to a prison or some of the other less desirable places we talked about, that might be much lower, down towards $400. It's kind of a balance. Business owners who choose to pay a lot in rent in areas with a lot of customers are going to make more money than businesses that choose poor locations. On the other hand, the ones that choose poor locations will be saving money in rent. So it's kind of a trade-off that you have to decide to make.